Again, considering the legacy of Daragang Magayon, how do you see yourself contributing to the well-being and aspirations of future generations in Albay, fostering a sense of continuity and pride?
Good evening, everyone. I can see myself contributing to the legacy of Daragang Magayon through not only being a representative but also a spokesperson, especially to those people who are not neglected and to those issues that are overlooked by many. And I believe that standing here in this stage, I am a woman of purpose and of power, a woman who wants to educate people despite of the challenges and the struggles that they have faced. And I believe that as an Albayana, I am ready to take the universe. Thank you.
So some really exciting news. I have just been crowned the first Miss Universe Philippines Australia, meaning I'm going to be going over to the Philippines next year to compete for Miss Universe Philippines. I am so excited to start this new exciting journey. I can't wait to share as much as I can with you, but stay tuned and watch out.
Once again, we are tagging Bacolod City as the next super city. So what do we have to do as Bacolodnons to embody this super city? Bacolod is known as a super city, and what makes our city a super city is our spirit. The spirit of each and every Bacolodnon, the spirit of resiliency and optimism that gives us the catalyst, or serves as catalyst for us to climb higher, to stand up wiser and bolder each time we fall. And also the same spirit that gives us the power to see the positive part of everything, especially the struggles that we encountered as a city. And if we could learn to share it, to radiate the spirit that resides in us, we can experience and empower the world around us, and we can all become the super people.
First, what's the most important lesson you learned in the past week?
Ooh, the most important lesson I've learned is everything is always worth it and everything happens for a reason. You know, the past week has been incredibly stressful and it has been incredibly filled with a lot of activities and it's been tiring, but I know that overall this journey is going to be worth it and it's going to be worth all the sacrifices, all the lack of sleep, and yeah, all of that. That's what I've learned over the past few days.
If beauty is in the eyes of a beholder, in whose eyes are you beautiful?
I think I'm beautiful in my own eyes and probably also my parents, which might be a little bit biased. And honestly, I think that's all that matters, that I'm beautiful to myself, not only on the outside, but on the inside as a person as well.
If we truly learn from our mistakes, would you advise a young person to keep making them?
I would advise them to keep taking risks, and if mistakes happen, then they happen and that's okay. You'll learn from them anyway.
If you have the power to do one of the following: eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose?
I would probably choose to solve all environmental problems, because ultimately if we don't do that, then our world would cease to exist. So for me, that's one of the priorities at the moment.
Lastly, if you were to add to cart one item to buy on Lazada to send to all Filipinas to help inspire them during this time, what would it be and why?
Anything from Lazada. There are so many things on Lazada, it's so incredibly hard to choose one, but if I would have to choose, I would choose a camera of any sort. That's one of my favorite, monetary items. I think being able to capture moments is inspiring in itself, and being able to look back on those moments and learn from them, regardless of if you can remember them, you'll always have the images to remind you of how you felt in that time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My question is personal growth often requires stepping out of one's comfort zone. Can you share an instance where you took a bold step forward, even when it felt intimidating, and the positive outcome that resulted?
To tell you a background about myself, I recently had my father. My father had recently passed away. He was my safe zone. That he is my partner in crime, and he has been someone who is advising me through life lessons. That when when he passed away, I felt like I had to give up everything that I want to pursue in life. But then again, I see the people who wants to support me, the people who wants to push me through my limits and go out to my own safe zone. That is why I am standing here in front of you today, rallying to become your next Miss Baguio. Thank you.
Justin, Tarah, Marie, Valencia. Good evening, candidate number 12. I will ask you the question twice. You have 30 seconds to answer. And your question goes, if you were to translate Baguio's essence into a single word, what word would that be, and how would you infuse that word with meaning during your reign? Again, if you were to translate Baguio's essence into a single word, what would that be, and how would you infuse that word with meaning during your reign?
If I will translate the Baguio essence into a one word, it will be sustaining. Baguio has been champion in sustainability, that I have become an advocate for it myself. Because as your next Miss Baguio, I then will bring change where change is due. Because this can be met by encouraging locals and tourists to work hand in hand in the preservation and protection of Baguio while putting or pushing the urban green space ordinance into a law. Thank you.
Are you ready for your question?
Definitely.
All right, please go choose. Your question is, if you had a remote control for men, what would be your first command? Once again, if you had a remote control for men, what would be your first command?
You know, men in our society are viewed as strongly masculine. If I had a remote control, my first command really is to allow them to be vulnerable, to feel love, to express love rather, to be compassionate and passionate. If we were to celebrate masculinity this way, we can truly move forward as a progressive Filipino society. Daghang salamat.
So here's your question. If you were to create a major headline in Cebu tomorrow that is socially relevant, what would be it and why? Once again, if you were to create a major headline in Cebu tomorrow that is socially relevant, what would it be and why?
If I were to create a headline, it would be Cebu empowering stronger women. Because Cebu is known to be a very open city, and what I love about Cebu is we're very welcoming, and we do love and we empower our women. We build communities for stronger women, and that is future universe that we can share to each other. Daghang salamat kaninyong tanan.
Thank you so much, Cebu City North.
As an Ilongga with heartfelt beauty, what message would you send to the Ilonggas from the past?
Thank you so much for this question. As an Ilongga with a heartfelt beauty, I think one thing that I'm proud of is ever since from the past, we've always kept the spirit of Dinagang. We've always kept the spirit of Pagpalanga. And the food that we had, that we are selected, was a creative city in gastronomy. And this is the reason why this was from our past, that we preserve it and we deliver it to right now. And one thing that I also want to say is, I want women to move forward. Abansi babae. This is something that comes from my heart. I want to empower women. I want to educate and to advocate women from the past and right now, that women can be so much more, that we're capable of so much more. Abansi babae. My name is Alexie Kaimoso Brooks, and my heart will always beat in Iloilo City. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, pinapakilala po namin
Hi, Lorraine.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
In 2012, Miss Universe allowed the participation of transgender contestants. In recent years, it allowed women, married women, and mothers remove the height and age limits. Do you think that inclusivity in pageantry gives unfair attention and advantage to those trying to break typical beauty standards?
I believe that no, inclusivity doesn't break any rule in the rules of pageantry and in the rules of beauty, because we are all here to defy beauty standards, and we are all here to showcase the different variations of women. And with that, I would like to leave you with an impactful message tonight: ang kababaihan ay hindi kailanman madidiktahan o malilimitahan ng lipunan. Maraming salamat po.